Hello you guys, this is your 6.2 notes, and today we're going to be solving equations with variables on both sides. Before I get into these notes, I want to make sure that you have done everything, every single activity for 6.1 before you're watching this video. If you have not completed all 4 activities for 6.1, you have some work to do still, so close out of this video, go back to 6.1, okay? If you're good to go, then continue watching. Today we're going to be solving equations with variables on both sides, and you are experts at this point of how to solve two-step equations. These are going to require possibly a little bit more than 2 steps, okay? So it's very, very important that you keep very neat with your work here. Show every single step and stay organized, because that's the biggest thing here. So how do we get variables on one side of the equation? To do that, we're going to do what we always do. We're going to do opposite operations to get variables to one side. This is the step that we have never done before, so that's going to be important. Now, I have a little saying that's going to help you with this. If you can look down here, here's an example. We've got variables on both sides of the equal sign. So you're going to do opposite operations. Now, you can technically move the x to either side. But if you're a fan of Beyonce, you will know that she has a song that goes to the left, perhaps you know what I'm talking about. And she is a genius because, as she says, to the left, I say left is best. You're probably thinking I'm crazy at this point. You might be right. So left is best. What I mean by that is it's best if you move the variables, or the term with the variable, to the left side of the equation, because that's just normal. Usually we see variables on the left side, so for the most part, follow Beyonce's rule of left is best, okay? Then once you do that, you're going to continue to use opposite operations to get the variable all by itself, like usual. So once we get the variable to one side, it should look pretty familiar with what we've done before. So let's go ahead and do some practice problems. All right, so number 1, drew my line, and we want to get x on one side of the equation. We're going to follow Beyonce's rule, and we're going to get the x's to the left side of the equation. So how we're going to do that is usually we're trying to get the coefficient away from the variable, but now we're going to bring this whole term to the left side of the equation. So how do I get 20x gone from this side and over to the left? Well, we're going to do the opposite operation. So if this is a positive 20x, the opposite would be to subtract 20x on both sides. So I'm going to subtract 20x on this side, and I'm going to subtract 20x on this side. And notice that I'm keeping the x's aligned. So 20x minus 20x is nothing, 0, cancels out. Let's figure out what I have here now. So 6x minus 20x gives us negative 14x. And then I'm going to continue to bring everything else down that I have left over. So I have negative 14x minus 8 is equal to, this is gone, 20. So let's take a step back. All you did was get rid of this 20x on this side and bring it to this other side. Now what you have is a nice 2-step equation that you guys already know how to solve. So let's go ahead and solve for x. We've got it to one side, now we have to figure out what it is. So this is the x, I want to get that all by itself. So the easiest thing to move to the other side now would be this minus 8. So I'm going to do the opposite and add 8 on both sides. So those are gone. I'm left with negative 14x is equal to 28. Now it's only a 1-step equation. So to get the x by itself, it's being multiplied here. So I'm going to divide by negative 14 on both sides. Negative 14 divided by negative 14 is 1. So x is equal to negative 2. Ooh, crazy 2. All right, so x is equal to negative 2. X is by itself. I've done my job, and let's take a step back. This is a 3-step problem. So it's very important that you show all of your steps. On a test, this type of problem might be worth 4 to 5 points. So very important that you show each one of your steps. Let's try another one. All right, so I've got variables on both sides. I'm going to separate my sides here. Going to follow Beyonce's rule. So I have x here and x here. When I get them to, I'm going to put a 1 there. When I get it to the left, because that's the easiest thing for me to do. So how do I get rid of a 1x on this side and put it on this side? Well, I have to do the opposite. So the opposite of plus 1x would be minus 1x on both sides. Minus 1x. The reason I have to keep the x's together is because those are like terms. That's what I can add together. So I'm left with 3x minus 1x is 2x. I'm going to bring everything else down that's left. Those have canceled, so I'm left with 1. All right, now it's a simple two-step equation that you all know how to do. So to get this x by itself, the easiest thing to get rid of would be this minus 7. So I'm going to add 7 on both sides. So 2x equals 8. And one final step to get that x all by itself, do the opposite of multiplication here. I'm going to divide. So x is equal to 4. All right, 3 steps and then I'm done. And we have one more to try. If you feel like I am just annoying and you know how to do this, try this on your own, pause me, try it, and then come back and check your answer. So, last problem here, separate our sides. We have x's that we need to get to the left, as Beyonce says. So to get rid of a minus 4x this time, I'm going to do the opposite and add 4x on both sides, plus 4x. So negative 4x plus 4x gives you 0, so those are gone. So I'm going to do 2x plus 4x gives us 6x. Bring everything down. And then I can start solving this two-step equation. The easiest thing to get rid of would be this plus 4. Do the opposite. So those cancel. So I'm left with 6x equals 12. And one final step, opposite of multiplication, would be to divide. So x is equal to 2. All right, so again, you must fill out the 3 questions that I have on this form in order to get credit for this activity. So make sure you do that after you're finished with this, and then make sure you do all of the activities for 6.2 before you move on to 6.3. And finally, let me know if you have any questions. All right.